All right, let's break down how Acheron Technologies took on a massive challenge for a major pro basketball league and completely transformed their workflow. This is a fantastic story about taking a messy manual process and building a slick, seamless digital media supply chain using the power of Qibb and AI. So let's just start with this question because it gets right to the heart of the matter. Think about a task you have to do, something that's slow, a bit painful, and takes a good 10 minutes every single time. Now, what if you could make that 10 minutes just disappear? We're talking about shrinking it down to milliseconds. That's exactly what Acheron did here, and we're going to see how. And this, right here, this really tells the whole story. On the left, you've got the before picture, a manual process that was slow, clumsy, and just riddled with human errors. It was a real headache. And on the right, you see the after, a fully automated system that's incredibly accurate. This is the story of a major transformation in digital media supply chain orchestration, and Acheron was at the helm. Okay, so to really get how brilliant the solution is, we've got to feel the pain of the problem first. Let's talk about this 10-minute bottleneck. We're in the high-stakes, fast-paced world of live sports, where every single second counts. And right in the middle of all that action, a slow, manual process was gumming up the works. So the core of this whole bottleneck was something called sidecar metadata. The easiest way to think about these is like digital sticky notes for every video clip. They've got all the good stuff, the time codes, which players are in the shot, what exactly happened in the play. Without it, a highlight is just another video file. With it, it becomes a searchable, super valuable piece of content. And this is what the daily struggle looked like. Before Acheron came in, you had editors manually trying to match these little data files to the right video clips. They were literally juggling spreadsheets, copying and pasting data, all while the clock was ticking. It was slow, it was painful, and worst of all, it had a shocking 8% error rate. Think about that. Almost 1 in every 10 clips had the wrong info, making them basically impossible to find later on. So how'd they fix it? Well, Acheron didn't just put a bandage on the old system. They built a completely new, automated reality. They brought in a powerful new way to orchestrate the entire digital media supply chain, and the whole thing was built around Qibb and AI.
The secret weapon here was Qibb AI, which is a low-code media workflow platform. Acheron used it as the sort of digital glue to connect all these different scattered pieces together. This wasn't just about moving files around. It was about building one smart end-to-end system that ran all the way from the arena floor to the cloud.
And the whole thing was built on this really smart idea, a hybrid cloud architecture. It's a design that gives you the absolute best of both worlds. You get the fast, reliable systems right there at the arena for getting content in quickly, and then you get the massive power and scale of the cloud for all the heavy lifting like processing and sending it out everywhere. So we've got the architecture, but what does this new automated digital media supply chain actually look like when the wheels are turning? How does it all work? Let's take a look at the workflow in action, step by step. Acheron broke this whole process down into 5 clean, totally automated stages. It all starts with ingest, then it flows to enrich, approve, deliver, and finally analyze. And the Qibb platform handles everything, making sure each step hands off to the next one perfectly. And here's how that works. First, ingest, files get automatically spotted and whisked away to the cloud. Then enrich, and this is where the real magic happens. That sidecar data is instantly merged with all the league's internal info. Now the cool part is the workflow is smart enough to pause for a human to give the thumbs up before deliver, where it automatically transcodes the clip and blasts it out to multiple platforms all at once. And the whole time, every single step is being tracked for analysis. The error-prone manual work, it's just gone. Now, a huge reason this all came together so quickly and so well was because of a special tool, Qibb's AI Copilot. And this wasn't just some little add-on. It was absolutely core to building this thing faster and making the whole workflow smarter. So instead of an engineer having to sit there and write line after line of complicated code, they could just describe what they wanted, in plain English. Just look at this prompt on the slide. It's a simple, logical instruction, not a single line of code. And this is where the AI is just incredible. The Qibb AI Copilot takes that natural language prompt and boom, it translates it into perfect, robust, and error-free logic for the workflow. The amount of development time this saved was just massive. And you can see here, the AI was doing so much more than just writing code. It was really acting like a seasoned advisor on the team. It was suggesting the best ways to handle errors, writing custom code for tricky network situations, even generating documentation automatically. It was like having a super experienced engineer looking over your shoulder, helping Acheron build a smarter and more resilient digital media supply chain, and doing it in record time.
Okay, let's talk results. Because we've seen the how, now it's time for the what. And the numbers behind this whole minutes to milliseconds transformation, well, they're pretty staggering. Let's quantify this incredible impact.
First up, this number is just wow. Over 10 minutes of manual, tedious work was saved. And that's not per day or per game, that's for every single highlight clip that went through the system. Just try to multiply that out over a full season. Next up, 100%. Let that sink in for a second. The entire manual tagging process was completely 100% eliminated. It was just gone. And that didn't just save time, it freed up the creative people to actually be creative instead of being stuck in spreadsheets. And this chart just says it all, right? The metadata error rate, which was a real problem at around 8%, dropped to practically zero. That means the data is clean, the content is easy to find, and the entire media archive just became way more valuable. And finally, reliability. You know, in live sports, if your system goes down, you're toast. It has to be rock solid. And Acheron's digital media supply chain delivered, maintaining an incredible 99.9% uptime for the entire season. Okay, so this is a really cool story about one sports league, but the thing is, this is way bigger than that. What happened here actually gives us a peek into the future for the entire media industry. This is about where all media workflows are heading. The success Acheron had with their digital media supply chain really hits on all the big trends we're seeing everywhere. You've got AI and low-code platforms making this kind of powerful automation accessible to way more people. You've got seamless human approvals and multi-platform delivery becoming the new standard. And maybe most importantly, we're seeing a big shift away from being locked into a single vendor and toward building these flexible, integrated workflows. So the big takeaway here is pretty clear. Automating your digital media supply chain isn't just a nice-to-have anymore. It's quickly becoming essential to compete and succeed. Which really just leaves us with one final question to think about. Is your media supply chain ready for the future?